far, far away on the tropical South Island, Sonic the Hedgehog and his other animal friends lived in peace and harmony. Well, that was until the day when the evil Dr. Ivo Robotnik, aka Eggman, showed up and kidnapped everyone but Sonic and placed the innocent creatures into badniks in order to collect the 6 Chaos Emeralds. Enraged by this plot, Sonic set out from the Green Hills to save the trapped animals from their imprisonment and teach Dr. Robotnik a lesson of speed and compassion. Passing from zone to zone, the blue hedgehog slowly but surely began to break the mechanical contraptions and capsules to free his friends and then pass through special challenges to claim each of the 6 Chaos Emeralds hidden on South Island. Dr. Robotnik, who saw the blue blur as a fly in his soup and a rapidly growing threat, grew more and more infuriated by the fact that none of his multiple encounters against Sonic had been victorious, or that any of his robots had been capable in taking out the unnaturally speedy hedgehog. As a result, he set up a massive trap to crush the unbearable Sonic. But when this scheme failed spectacularly due to Sonic's sharp quills, he had no other option but to flee the scene and leave Sonic to unite the 6 Chaos Emeralds at Green Hills, and by the fusion of these, rejuvenate the wildlife and nature of South Island. Sometime after the event, Dr. Robotnik conquered Little Planet over Neverlake to locate the powerful Time Stones and transform the small planet into an impregnable fortress. Seeing the danger of this time-bending scheme to take over the world, Sonic rushed to the Chain Planet and traveled from each zone's present to the past to destroy Robotnik's generators and ensure a good future. Nothing out of the ordinary if it wasn't for the fact that another female hedgehog, Amy Rose, got a massive crush on him at the end of Palm Tree Panic. And then at Collision Chaos got kidnapped by Dr. Robotnik's latest invention, Metal Sonic. With traps set for him in both present and past, Sonic had for the first time to explore thoroughly each zone to find ways to the past, and first then outrace his metallic counterpart on Stardust Speedway to rescue Amy. The trail to the final confrontation was long and tough, as Sonic knew he had to ensure a good future in all of Little Planet's zones or locate all the Time Stones to spoil Robotnik's plot. By doing so, he returned safely back with Amy to the surface and witnessed as the unchained Little Planet self-destruct once and for all, only leaving flowers in its trail. Not long after Eggman's first invasion on South Island, Sonic flew out on his personal plane, the Tornado, for new adventures to West Side Island. Even so, unbeknownst to the hero of the Green Hills, Robotnik wouldn't give up that easily and tailed closely in his Eggmobile, landing on the other side of the island. Still, both were unaware of the fact that long ago, an indigenous civilization inhabited the island and utilized a separate Chaos Emerald to their own benefit until the day when it all came to a close and they sealed it deep within the island. Soon upon arrival, Dr. Robotnik detected the presence of the 6 Chaos Emeralds and the 7th West Side Island Emerald. Unwilling to waste any time, he began to kidnap the animals of the island in order to rebuild his Badnik's army and then his new ultimate weapon, the Death Egg. Meanwhile, Sonic met and befriended a young two-tailed fox, Miles Prower, also known as Tails, who quickly caught interest of Sonic's airplane, the Tornado. Sonic allowed his new-met friend to accompany him across the island, cities and refineries, which in a record time had been taken over by Dr. Eggman. Being well aware of the scientist's intentions, he set out along with Tails to free the animals and capture the 7 emeralds. Upon being defeated on the island, Eggman set out for his newly completed battle station, which totally did not rip off Star Wars, with Sonic and Tails closely tailing him in the Tornado. The final encounter inside the Death Egg was tense, as Sonic had to battle without any rings. However, that was before he activated the 7 Chaos Emeralds to unleash his true power as Super Sonic. Needless to say, Sonic had no difficulties in taking down Eggman, downing the Death Egg to orbit, and then followed his, from now on, permanent companion Tails in the Tornado. The Death Egg, which ended up on the floating island, was not destroyed, but ended at the bottom of the ocean, leaving Robotnik infuriated until he detected the presence of emeralds. With his aim set on resurfacing the battle station and bringing it back to orbit, Robotnik set up a new scheme to steal the Chaos Emeralds from Knuckles, the Echidna. By knocking Knuckles off the Emerald Altar, bringing the Death Egg and the floating island to the surface, the confused Echidna believed Robotnik's lie that Sonic the Hedgehog was on his way to the island to steal the floating island's Chaos Emeralds and interfere in Robotnik's research on the island. When Sonic and Tails eventually arrived on the island, Knuckles was just waiting for the moment when the blue hedgehog would transform into Super Sonic and in an instant knock the Chaos Emeralds out of him and ran away with them. Shocked by this scene, Sonic ran out to chase after Knuckles and Robotnik, who unoriginally once again trapped animals to recreate his army of badniks. This time, however, not only did Sonic have to free the animals and locate the hidden emeralds, but also avoid Knuckles' traps on his way to Robotnik. Sonic and Tails were successful in reaching the surface Death Egg and Dr. Robotnik, and then swiftly defeated him. At that moment, Robotnik attempted to bring the Death Egg back to orbit without the Chaos Emeralds, which failed and resulted in the space station crashing on top of the volcanic lava reef. Angered by this fact, Robotnik changed his plan, backstabbed his former partner at the Hidden Palace, and stole the Master Emerald from Knuckles. With it, Robotnik finally managed to bring the Death Egg back to orbit. Infuriated, Knuckles teamed up with Sonic and Tails and helped them up to the Sky Sanctuary, and from there to the Death Egg, where Sonic once again defeated Robotnik. With the Master Emerald back in the rightful hands, Knuckles eventually had to fight Mecha Sonic. Luckily, thanks to Sonic, the short-tempered Echidna came out successful in this decisive battle, thus concluding the tale of the floating island, which returned back to the skies. Shortly after saving Angel Island and Knuckles, a dimensional breach occurred in the atmosphere. Tails picked up this unnatural wave of energy and convinced Sonic to investigate the matter further. It soon turned out that Dr. Robotnik, from now on Eggman, detected the same energy and dispatched his hard-boiled heavies to retrieve the source causing the eruption of energy. Not willing to waste any time, Sonic and Tails rapidly headed for Angel Island, where the hard-boiled heavies were excavating the Phantom Ruby for Dr. Eggman. With it, they caused the world and time to warp around them, sending Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles back to the Green Hill Zone. If that wasn't enough of a disturbance, the hard-boiled heavies had transformed into more powerful, elite, free-willed egg robos. Due to the Ruby's power, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were sent back and forth and quickly realized that they had to prevent Dr. Eggman from using the Ruby for evil deeds. Running across a number of familiar zones, Sonic eventually learned that Eggman intended to restore the ruined future of Little Planet to defeat them once and for all. The trio had seen enough as they boarded the Titanic Monarch, but not before Sonic had claimed all the 7 Chaos Emeralds. With them, he defeated Eggman, and the hard-boiled heavies destroyed and escaped from the vanishing Little Planet. Everyone was pleased with this common victory, while Sonic headed out for new adventures. Some years after their last adventure, Sonic visited the bustling city of Station Square and soon got involved in a police chase after a strange creature made up entirely of water. It soon turned out that Dr. Robotnik, now titled Eggman, had awoke this creature after the Master Emerald on Angel Island was shattered. This caused the floating island to fall from the sky on the coastlines of the Mystic Ruins, from where Knuckles the Echidna, the guardian of the Master Emerald, set out to reassemble the emerald and bring the isle back into the sky. The morning after Sonic's encounter with Chaos, he witnessed his friend, Miles Tails Prower, crash his plane onto the beach. After being rescued, Tails explained that he's been using a Chaos Emerald to power the engine on his plane. On the way to Tails' workshop, they were ambushed by Dr. Eggman and Chaos yet again. Eggman stole the Chaos Emerald Tails had in his possession to feed Chaos and make him stronger. The more emeralds Chaos consumed, the more powerful he became. With the knowledge of this power gained, Sonic and Tails made it their duty to collect the rest of the Chaos Emeralds to prevent Chaos from unleashing its ultimate form. Over the course of their adventure, they came across old and new friends and rivals such as Knuckles, Amy Rose, E102 Gamma, and Big the Cat, who all played their own roles in the greater scheme. After all these stories had been completed, this didn't stop Chaos from eventually consuming the negative energy of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, turning into perfect chaos and wreaking havoc on the city. Using the positive energy of the emeralds, Sonic transformed into Super Sonic and defeated perfect chaos. Rather than sealing him back in the Master Emerald, they dissolved his anger by showing him the Chow he used to protect, saying that they have been peacefully coexisting amongst humans. Chaos, with his anger dissolved, left with Tikal, who sealed him in the Master Emerald thousands of years ago with his soul at peace. After his failed takeover of Station Square, Dr. Eggman invaded a high-security military base to uncover his late grandfather's hidden experiment, who turned out to be none other than Shadow the Hedgehog, the self-proclaimed ultimate life form. There he told Eggman to gather some Chaos Emeralds and meet him at the abandoned space colony, Ark. Bearing a similar resemblance to Sonic, Shadow's crimes eventually would be pitted on the Blue Hedgehog, thus putting him in police custody. After escaping through the city, Sonic encountered Shadow and learned that he could use the Chaos Emerald's powers to manipulate time and space. Shadow successfully escaped using Chaos Control, leaving Sonic to be captured once again by the police. Later on, Eggman made his way to the space colony Ark, basically a Death Star ripoff, where Shadow explained the base's weapon system, the Eclipse Cannon, which harnessed the power of Chaos Emeralds. Thanks to the help of Rouge, who was a double agent, they acquired yet another Chaos Emerald and gathered a total of 6 back on Prison Island. Coincidentally, with this heist, Tails and Amy set out to free Sonic from his imprisonment. With the emeralds at their disposal, Eggman demonstrated the power of the Eclipse Cannon by destroying half of the moon with it, and holding Earth ransom if his demands were not met within 24 hours. Sonic and his friends then blasted their way up to the space colony Ark to face him. After a series of battles aboard the Ark, Eggman stole the last Chaos Emerald and tried to fire the Eclipse Cannon, only to discover that the Ark was programmed by his grandfather to collide into the Earth. Both sides teamed up to stop the base from crashing into Earth, but Shadow did not volunteer until Amy reminded him of the promise he made 50 years ago to his human friend Maria, who died on the base along with the rest of the crew. The gang then encountered the Bio Lizard, a prototype ultimate life form, which Shadow then defeated, allowing Knuckles to deactivate the Master and Chaos Emeralds. But the Bio Lizard used Chaos Control to warp to the Eclipse Cannon and continue the Ark's collision to Earth. Sonic and Shadow then used the Chaos Emeralds to transform into Super Sonic and Shadow, thus defeating the final hazard and saving the planet, but at the cost of Shadow's life. Sometime after the events on the space colony Ark, Eggman emerged once again to challenge Sonic, claiming he had the ultimate weapon to take over the world in 3 days' time. This left Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles on a path to his Eggman fleet. On their way, however, they encounter other teams of 3, one of which included an amnesiac Shadow the Hedgehog, who was thought to be dead. Turns out, the Dr. Eggman that challenged Sonic was actually Metal Sonic. The real Eggman was being held captive and rescued by the Chaotix Detective Agency, led by Vector the Crocodile. Metal Sonic then transformed himself into the Metal Overlord. Once again, the 7 Chaos Emeralds transformed Sonic into his super form, allowing Knuckles and Tails to join him into defeating Metal Sonic once and for all. Still, without his memory fully intact, Shadow was haunted by gruesome images of his past, notably the murder of his friend Maria. While pondering these thoughts, he witnessed the city of Westopolis being invaded by dark alien creatures dubbed the Black Arms, and was introduced to their leader, Black Doom, who demanded Shadow bring him the 7 Chaos Emeralds. When Shadow finally gathered and delivered them to Black Doom, the alien leader used them to transport the homeworld, the Black Comet, to the surface of the Earth. He then revealed his true intentions, to use the humans as a source of energy for his army. He also revealed that Shadow was created by Gerald Robotnik using his blood, and that the Eclipse cannon on the Ark was created to target the Black Comet. Black Doom then transformed into Devil Doom, only to be taken down later by Super Shadow, and he warped the comet back into space to be destroyed by the Eclipse cannon. The world has been saved once again. The events that unfold in Sonic 06 never actually happened. In the end, Princess Elise blew out the Flame of Hope, wiping the game's antagonist Solaris from existence and wiping the game's events from the timeline completely. For those curious, what occurs in the game is a tale of time travel, death, and the most awkward love story known to man and Hedgehog. It's best everyone just forgets about this whole thing. Sonic and the Secret Rings. 2 of Sonic's adventures in particular were interesting to say the least, as they involved him being transported into the world of fairy tales, starting with the Arabian Nights. Having awoken from a nap, Sonic was greeted by a genie named Shara, who begged him to help save her world, which lied in the book of the Arabian Nights. Upon entering her world, he met the evil Eraser Djinn, who put a life-threatening curse on Sonic, forcing him to collect the 7 world rings before the flame on his chest burns out, thus killing him. After collecting the 7 rings, Eraser Djinn transformed into the demonic beast Alf Layla Wa Layla. Sonic would then use the same rings to turn himself into Dark Spine and bring an end to the genie's reign. Sonic and the Black Knight. This wouldn't be the last of Sonic's storybook adventures, as after the adventures in the Arabian Nights, Merlina, the granddaughter of the great wizard Merlin, summoned Sonic to the realm of King Arthur Camelot, claim the legendary sentient sword, the Caliburn, and free the king from his possessed and tyrannical form, the Black Knight. Shortly upon arrival, Sonic freed Merlina from an ambush, and upon some swordsmanship training, set out to face the 3 knights who had been sent to kill the 2 fugitives. Merlina went into hiding, while Sonic, upon sharpening the blade in Castletown, went on to defeat Lancelot, Gawain, and Percival and claimed their blades. Gaining respect of the Caliburn and the scabbard of the sword, Sonic was granted the title Knight of the Wind, and finally faced and defeated the Black Knight with the 4 sacred blades. In a plot twist, it turned out that the king was just an illusion conjured by the great wizard Merlin. Abusing this situation, Merlina claimed the scabbard and set her aim to become the new queen of the land. After further struggles, Sonic faced and eventually managed to break his way to Merlina, but it was for naught. Caliburn was broken in half, and all seemed to be lost. But Sonic wouldn't give up that easily, and repaired Caliburn to unleash his Excalibur form and the blade's true form. With it, he once again faced Merlina and defeated her Dark Queen form and returned back to his own world, where Amy was displeased that Sonic had forgot their date and unleashed her Pico Pico hammer. Sometime after the storybook adventures, within the orbit of the planet Earth, Eggman's fleet prepared for an unknown assault. That was until Sonic the Hedgehog used his super form to stop him. Little did Sonic know that it was Eggman's plan all along, as he drained the power from the Chaos Emeralds, causing Sonic to turn into a ferocious beast called the Werehog. Using the stolen Chaos Emerald power, Eggman fired upon the planet, separating the continents into 7 pieces, and unleashing a beast known as Dark Gaia. After Sonic Crash landed on Earth, he met a creature who suffered from amnesia and forgot his own name. Sonic gave him the nickname Chip and helped him on his adventure to restore the Chaos Emerald's power through a series of shrines on each continent. Chip eventually regained his memory during this journey, revealing himself to be Dark Gaia's opposite, Light Gaia, who was destined to bring the pieces of Earth back together every time Dark Gaia breaks them. Sonic and Chip then made their way to the final shrine at Eggman's new Empire Eggman Land, where they faced off against the egg-shaped scientist again, which caused them to sink into the core of the Earth. Dark Gaia then turned on Eggman, absorbed Sonic's power that turned him into a werehog, and then into semi-perfect Dark Gaia. To retaliate, Chip called together all the shrines to form the Gaia Colossus that seemingly destroyed Dark Gaia until it plunged the entire world in darkness, thus turning into perfect Dark Gaia. Supersonic and the Gaia Colossus team up to finally put an end to perfect Dark Gaia and restore the planet to its former glory. Chip then sent Sonic back to the surface of the Earth, leaving behind his bracelet as a memoir to their adventures, and a message stating that he will always be by his side. It looked as if for a while that Dr. Eggman had turned a new leaf by building a theme park in outer space dubbed Dr. Eggman's Incredible Interstellar Amusement Park. Sonic and Tails, being rightfully suspicious, decided to investigate the place and met up with Yacker, who was a part of a race of alien beings called Wisps. He informed the duo that Eggman had been using the Wisp's energy to power his mind control laser, allowing him to successfully take over the Earth. With the help of the Wisps and a few friends, Sonic was able to destroy the laser, destroy the theme park, and destroy Eggman's heinous plans once again. The Wisps have been freed, and Sonic and Tails return to Earth, eagerly awaiting their next adventure. Little did they know that their next adventure would bring them back to the past. On one of Sonic's birthdays, a giant monster called the Time Eater sucked up Sonic's friends, causing a rift in space and time. As a result, classic Sonic ended up in the ruined modern world and was forced to clean up the mess SEGA had left the last 10 years. Together, modern Sonic and classic Sonic revisited some past zones to free their friends and race their former rivals, including Perfect Chaos, Metal Sonic, Shadow, and Silver on their way to classic and modern Eggman. Both Sonics used their super forms to defeat the Eggmans and the Time Eater to restore the balance of time. Sometime after, the Sonic and Tails were in pursuit of Dr. Eggman once again as he stole their animal friends to continue powering his robot army. Eggman shot down Tails' plane, the Tornado, and forced our heroes to crash land on Lost Hex. In order to combat the heroes, Eggman enlisted the help of the Deadly Six, who eventually betrayed him and used one of his machines to absorb the Earth's life force for themselves. This causes Dr. Eggman to work with Sonic and Tails to turn off the machine. After they defeated the Deadly Six with Zavok, Eggman went back to his evil ways and tried to defeat Sonic and Tails using the power absorbed from Earth. Of course, he failed miserably and crash-landed back on Earth, which was saved once again. Yeah, not happening. Besides, it isn't part of the canon we follow here. Dr. Eggman was at his wit's end this time. Using a heavily weaponized force of robots, he launched an attack on most of the world. Sonic shortly followed to stop him. That is, until he came across a new threat named Infinite, a mercenary working with Dr. Eggman. Unbeknownst to Sonic, Infinite had a few months prior lost to Shadow in a swift battle. Learning from this failure, he adopted a new personality, a mask, and was given the Phantom Ruby by Eggman, which he, along with what seemed to be Shadow, Zavok, Metal Sonic, and Chaos, fittingly confirming the placement of this game in the timeline. Anyways, they seemingly easily put an end to Sonic. With him gone and 99% of the world under Eggman's control, a resistance was formed by Sonic's friends, who enlisted the help of a skilled rookie. Knuckles soon discovered that Sonic was alive and being held prisoner aboard the Death Egg, so they sent the rookie to rescue him. Meanwhile, Tails was attacked by Chaos. That was until classic Sonic returned from the past to save him. The duo decided from there that they needed to figure out what the Phantom Ruby was and how to render it useless. They then discovered that the Death Egg was powering the Ruby, and then launched an attack on the space station to destroy it. Meanwhile, Sonic broke free after beating Zavok, but as he was about to face Shadow, the real Shadow stepped in and knocked out the imposter, thus revealing that Sonic's rivals were nothing but phantoms created by Eggman and Infinite. The war stretched on as Sonic, along with his friends, recaptured more and more territory until they were ready to strike back at Eggman. The Resistance then planned an assault on Eggman's capital, Metropolis. However, Eggman had another power source for the Phantom Ruby and had Infinite create a sun to crash down on the planet. The Rookie then used a prototype Phantom Ruby to dispel the sun, leaving them, Sonic and Classic Sonic, to defeat Infinite and Dr. Eggman. Classic Sonic returns to the past, and Sonic and his pals plan to rebuild the world. We here at Commonwealth Realm thank you for watching until the very end. We would also like to thank our Patreon supporters, including royal producer Kenyatta Ali, for helping make possible this extensive timeline narrated by me, Jason Dameron, the Voice Overlord. If you'd like to support the channel for access to exclusive content, such as the Commonwealth Realm podcast, be sure to visit patreon.com/commonrealm for more information. We hope you have a fabulous day, and we will see you in the next episode of the Commonwealth Realm.